The reality is that despite our best efforts, we will all die sooner or later. But here's another cold fact. Many of us leave our loved ones a pile of problems when we pass. So here's the question. Do you have the willpower to establish a family-friendly estate? Jim Lineweaver's here to help. Jim's a certified financial planner with the Lineweaver Financial Group. Thanks for joining us, Jim.
My pleasure.
So, Jim, is a will enough to cover all the issues we need to worry about for planning for death?
Unfortunately, it's not. But what happens is it can be a vital part as a piece of it, but you need some other things that we'll talk about to wrap around that. But the will is basically going to allow you to be kind of like a catch-all. If something doesn't go by contract or by beneficiary designation, then the will is there to catch it. You can appoint an executor of the will, and you can make sure anything that's left to that will go to the rightful owners or your kids or whoever you want it to go to.
So you should have a will.
You should.
But you don't want to use it because it goes through probate.
Correct.
All right, so then there are ways to avoid. Well, let's first talk. Is probate a bad thing or a good thing?
Well, not necessarily. A lot of people think it's a bad thing because it can add to some additional expenses of your estate to get it to the next generation. However, what probate does do is make sure that any money that, as I mentioned, wasn't titled correctly will definitely go to the rightful owners that you want them to get to. So it'll control things a little bit after the grave for you.
So if you haven't planned your estate properly, probate is a good catch-all.
Exactly.
But if you can avoid it,
why not do that?
All the better, because you save money, you save time. So
You do.
let's talk about some ideas on when we should avoid probate and how we should avoid probate.
Sure, yeah. The first thing what we usually look at doing is making sure you have a durable power of attorney. A lot of people think this could be called like a financial power of attorney because it can take control of your assets if you're incapacitated. And what it'll do is it'll allow them maybe to be managed and things along that nature, pay your bills so you don't run into problems with creditors or anything. Because if you don't have that, what the probate court's going to do is they're going to assign a guardian to make sure that's done for you on your behalf. And really rather have a loved one do that and avoid all those additional expenses if you can.
So when we talk about probate, normally we're talking about when people die, but you can have probate over a guardianship during life if you don't have the power of attorney. And
they'll have to appoint you somebody because those things are going to have to be taken care of.
All right. A trust. Let's talk about trust. Is that a good thing to do? Does that avoid probate?
It does, and that can take it one step further because if you really have wishes that may be of when you may want kids or somebody to exactly receive money or how you want them to receive it, you can't do that in a will, but you can do it in a trust. Like, for example, with my kids, and we'll see if they're paying attention to the TV show today or not, but in any event, what happens is everything for their health, welfare, maintenance support will be totally paid for if something happens to my wife and I. But they're not getting any distribution of the trust till age 35. Next one at 40, last one at 45, thinking, go out there, get educated, get a job, get your shins kicked in a little bit, find out what it's like to work out there. And so you can only control and do some things like that from a trust.
So when you hold things back for a period of time, you need a trust to do that.
Yeah, and it also helps avoid probate as well.
All right. Other ways to avoid probate, anything besides a trust?
Yeah, on your checking account, brokerage accounts, anything like that, make sure you set it up as payable on death or transfer on death, and you can do that to your primary real estate now as well. And also on your life insurance and annuities, make sure you have beneficiary designations for not only primary, the first person that would fall in line, but also contingent, so that it can all avoid probate.
So there's a lot of ways to avoid probate.
There really is.
All right, so if people want more information, since we've obviously run through this very quickly, we've talked about probate in life, probate at death, anywhere people can go for more information?
Yeah, we're actually, because this is a complicated issue, what happens is we're going to cover this and more at a free education program that we're going to have at our Valley View office, and that's going to be on November 12th. It's a Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. and also on Thursday, November 14th at 1 p.m.
All right. Good information, and good that you have a way for people to get more information, because this is complicated, but it's very important.
It really is. Thanks.
Thanks, Jim. Everyone needs to do estate planning. Yes, everyone. Even if you don't think you have enough assets to add up to an estate, most likely you still have items that you need to identify new owners for when you're gone. For help and information, be sure to attend Jim's seminars or give him a call. The number's up next.
For more information, call the Lineweaver Financial Group at 1-888-313-4009 or log on to www.lineweaver.net. Next, an important part of men's health.